Mr. Mitchell.
Okay, ready? Martha? Okay, I'm gonna, here. Welcome everybody to our City Council meeting, December 6th. The time is 7:05 p.m. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could we please remain standing for a moment of silence for our first responders and military members? Thank you. Can we please get roll call?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Present.
Councilmember Moran?
Present.
Councilmember King?
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia? Mayor Aguilar?
Present.
For the record, Mayor Pro Tem Garcia is not in attendance. His absence is excused.
Thank you. In regards to closed session announcements, we gave direction to staff. Any changes to the agenda, Council?
Yes, I would like to request to have item number, what was it? 16 moved to after 18. So 16 will be number 19.
Mr. Kate?
So just real quick, we're doing flags, invocation, and then the oaths, correct? So flags, invocation, then the oath.
Yes.
All right, so at this point, we're going to citizen comments. This section of the agenda allows members of the public to address the council on any other item not otherwise on the agenda. Members of the public, when recognized by myself, should come forward and identify themselves. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. In accordance to state open meeting laws, no action will be taken by the City Council this evening for items which are on the agenda. This evening, members of the public will be provided an opportunity to address the council as each item is brought up for discussion. Do we have any citizen comments at this time?
We do. This is Mr. Mitchell, and how are y'all doing tonight?
Good, thank you.
All right, so just a quick comment here. On the consent calendar, are all the minutes from the previous meetings and Letty, as the city clerk, responsible for those minutes? However, they were never done until after the election. And we all know that the new mayor has a history of censoring people. So I want to know how involved is the new mayor in censoring these minutes, because there's a lot of concerned residents spoke up against what you were doing, what you as a group are doing, and against what you were doing, especially the new mayor, and those comments are all mysteriously missing from the minutes. So it appears as though City Clerk Letty and Jose Moran are still working to censor the public. What's going on there?
Thank you. Any other comments at this time?
Yes, this is Mr. Kate. Am I to understand that you're seriously considering deleting the videos of your meetings because you don't have meeting minutes? You do realize that every day in the corporate and business world and in the legal world that we record our meetings and then write our meeting minutes. So what you need to do is watch your videos and write your meeting minutes, not delete the videos. You don't delete the videos. You write your meeting minutes from the video. This is 101, guys. This is 101, and I feel like you're teaching me 101 on corruption. You're going to delete the record? So come on. You can't do that. The world is watching you. Write the minutes from the videos. Listen, and if you need help, I'll come help you. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Good evening, Council. Rodrigo Espinosa, Merced County Supervisor, District 1. And just to add, I had a discussion. We have a board meeting in Merced County today, and there was an agenda item with one of the committees was going to remove recording of meetings, and I objected to that, so I agree with the caller right now. It's very instrumental. When I became mayor in 2010, we brought video conferencing to the board meeting here, and for a year, we weren't able to record the meetings, and we had everything ready. But like I said, hopefully with the new council, we'll have all the video conferencings and the videos on YouTube and available for the public. So we want to make sure there's transparency. Also, I just want to congratulate everybody that the newly elected. I want to thank the past council for their service to the community. Hopefully, we can mend fences and move forward. With the city, I think we have a lot. We have enough to deal with the coming recession. Hopefully, it won't be as hard on people, because I know, recessions are very hard. So let's worry about making sure that the city, the community survives, and that we all survive, and to become better citizens and better elected officials, whoever sits up here. So I just want to say also the next board meeting of the supervisors in Merced County will be December 13th at 10 a.m. in the morning, and at the old courthouse museum. So everybody's invited. I always invite, and the meetings are obviously recorded. So looking forward to working with the new council in the future. So thank you very much. Have a good night, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you. You want to address the meeting? Okay. Any other public comment at this time? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on.
So just a few corrections. So just to be really clear, the mayor has no, regardless of who that mayor is, has no input on the minutes. That's the complete and accurate reflection of the clerk in their role, and has to be ratified by a majority of the council. And with regard to meeting minutes, I don't see anything that would create a policy going forward to waive meeting minutes. Are you aware of anything in there? So I think that may be a reference to something else, but there is nothing on this agenda that would create a policy where we would not have meeting minutes anymore.
So, thank you. We're going to go ahead and move on to announcements and reports. Go ahead. We're going to go ahead and reopen public comment at this time.
Catherine Shell Rodriguez, longtime resident of Livingston and city council watcher since at least 2007. I have a comment about the minutes. For years and years, the minutes would give at least a summary of what people would say when they would come up and make a public comment. That changed at least a year and a half ago. I can go back and check my notes and get a better date. But staff was directed by council to only do action type minutes, meaning that instead of the brief summary of what people would speak, only their name would be listed. And I'd asked about that, and I know that I brought up that maybe that's not such a good idea. But that was I want to say, fairly recent change within the last 2 years. Like I said, I could find the date, go back through my notes. But I feel that when a person comes up to the microphone to speak in public, that at least they should be given at least the minimum decency and respect for the substance of their comments to be reflected in the minutes. And also, something else that changed within only the past couple of months or so is that public comments emailed in, they were being read out loud for a while by the deputy city clerk. And then all of a sudden there is a change that, nope, we're not going to read these minutes out loud into the record. We are going to distribute them to the council members. But your name will go down the list that you sent in a comment. I also think that people who take the time to write up an email and email it in because they can't be physically present, that either A, someone needs to read their comment out loud at the meeting, or at minimum, B, a brief synopsis of what their email was about be reflected in the minutes.
Okay, anybody else, public comment? All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on.
Yep. If I could, I just want to address the last one. The most recent speaker is absolutely correct as it relates to the public comments and the change of policy was at the direction of the city attorney's office to go from it being read aloud into it being, we're supposed to be doing a brief synopsis, at least, generalize what it's saying. The reason that there was that change is the city started receiving what you would consider to be defamatory or potentially libelous letters, and we were worried about the city's exposure in terms of regurgitating it in public and potentially publishing to a broader audience comments that would be considered defamatory or libels potentially. So it was strictly on a risk management basis so that we keep the city's litigation exposure low. And some of the comments that in there probably weren't suitable for, they would be R-rated, and so we thought it was appropriate to kind of give a summary of that. Those things are reflected in the minutes as we're legally required to, but we're not necessarily needed to go word for word. When we create that policy, we have to treat all comments evenly so that we're not discriminating on the basis of freedom of speech. And so that our policy has then been, when we receive comments, to be able to have a summary read, at least a sentence to what the substance was, but without necessarily getting into the details of it. And I wanted the public to know why we had made that judgment call. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any city staff announcements and reports? Jennifer? No staff announcements? No?
No staff
Okay.
reports tonight.
City manager announcements and reports? So no reports, no staff? No.
No reports tonight.
City council announcements and reports. Councilmember King? Councilmember Jose Moran?
Nothing to report.
Councilmember Maria Soto? And myself, nothing to report tonight. I'm going to go ahead and move on to awards, presentations, and proclamations. We have outgoing certificates or outgoing plaques to the council. Mayor Pro Tem Garcia is not here tonight, so we will leave it here and he could come and pick it up. And I do have one for Councilmember Gagandeep King. It just reads, thank you for the service in the city of Livingston. I think Maria has mine.
Sister Kate.
I'd like to present this plaque to our outgoing mayor. It's been a pleasure to sit alongside with you for these past 4 years. Thank you for your service over the past 6 years, 4 years as council and 2 years as our current mayor as of now. City of Livingston Service Award presented to Mayor Juan Aguilar Jr. in appreciation for your service and dedication to the community of Livingston 2020-2022.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on to our consent agenda. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine or non-controversial and will be enacted by one vote unless separate action is requested by the city manager or city council. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of the council or city manager request these specific items be removed. Council?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion by Councilmember Jose Moran. Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
We have a second by Councilmember Gagandeep King. Martha? Roll call.
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Moran?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Aguilar?
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote of 4-0.
All right, so at this time, we will begin the ceremonial of the new council. So first, we will begin with the entrance of our flags. We could take we could take the item first, the actual certification, then we'll have them come in, okay? So tell them 1 second. Gopal, tell them to wait. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take item number 17, which is a resolution reciting the fact of the general consolidated municipal election held on Tuesday, November 8th, 2022, and declaring the results and such or other matters as provided by law. 17. So we will have the attorney's office present this item real quick.
Mayor and council, just like to introduce Christina Pritchard from an attorney in our office, and she'll be presenting this item.
So agenda item 17 is consider and discuss the City of Livingston City Council's options for filling the city council seat. This is the certification. We didn't do that one.
So just real quickly, for certification of the election results, you want to announce it? Go ahead.
So I'll go ahead and announce the winners. So for City of Livingston Mayor, the elected mayor is Jose Moran, of which he took majority of votes. We have council members Jason Roth and Paul Samra. So considering these results, the council will link to.
So what's happened is, so we wanted the mayor to announce who prevailed in those elections. Those results have been certified by the Registrar of Voters Office, and it's now the council's responsibility to accept those results, in which case they become effective immediately. And then following a few ceremonial items, we will have the swearing in of our new mayor and our new council members. So with that, council, we would be looking for a motion to approve the certified election results of the Merced County Registrar of Voters regarding the mayor and 2 council seats.
I motion to approve as presented.
So we have a motion by Councilmember Jose Moran. Do we have a second? I'll go ahead and second that. Martha? Sorry, public comment at this time? All right, we'll bring it back to council. Go ahead, Martha.
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Moran?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Aguilar?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you. So now this time, Paul, if you could call the flags.
So just so everybody knows, we will do the flags, we will do the invocation, and then we'll do the swearing in of the new members, and then we'll take a brief recess.
Sorry about the technical difficulties, but they'll be here shortly. Thank you.
They were just accepting the unexcused.
Present arms. Order. Arms. Detail. Right. Face. Forward. March.
So this moment, I'm going to go ahead and do our invocation.
Good evening. Well, congratulations to all the new members. Congratulations. You know, the Bible talks about God has brought you up and raised you up to provide just and honorable service, and that you provide honest and God-fearing leaders and influencers that you are. And we pray that God will turn you around to honor you as a source of wisdom and power. So let's pray. Dear wise and loving Father, let me say first, thank you on behalf of all those who are gathered today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself that you give, for the measure of health we need to fulfill our callings, for substance and for friendship. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work in the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thanks as well for the freedom to embrace you or the freedom to reject you. Thank you for loving us, even so, for your boundless and gracious nature. In the scripture, you say that the citizens ought to obey the governing authorities, since you have established very authorities to promote peace and order and justice. Therefore, I pray for our mayor and for the various levels of city officials, and in particular for this assembled council. I'm asking that you would grant them and graciously grant them wisdom to govern through the conflicting interests and many issues of our times. Grant them a sense of welfare and true needs for our people, a keen thirst for justice and righteousness, confidence in what is good and fitting, and the ability to work together in harmony even when there's honest disagreement, and also for peaceful peace in their lives and during their tasks. And I pray for the agenda set before them today. Give them an assurance of what would please you and will benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Livingston. And I also pray for the authorities, our police department, for our first responders, our fire department, that you give them wisdom and insight as they protect the citizens here. And I pray this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. And God bless you all.
Heavenly Father, one true God, we stand before you asking your blessing upon these meeting chambers. Come and remain here, enlighten our hearts, give us strength and wisdom to know your will, that we might live our lives justly. Guide the decisions that will be made here. Enable us to uphold the rights of others. Do not allow anyone to be misled by ignorance or corrupted by fear or favor. May your faithful servants who lead this community be united as they work for the common good. We ask your blessing upon your people, that we may always live in peace and harmony as we walk together in this pilgrimage of life. Amen.
ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸ੍ਰੀ ਭਗਵਤੀ ਜੀ ਸਹਾਏ। ਵਾਰ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਭਗਵਤੀ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹੀ 10ਵੀਂ। ਪ੍ਰਥਮ ਭਗਵਤੀ ਸਿਮਰ ਕੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਲਈ ਧਿਆਏ। ਫਿਰ ਅੰਗਦ ਗੁਰ ਤੇ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਰਾਮਦਾਸੈ ਹੋਈ ਸਹਾਏ। ਅਰਜਨ ਹਰਿ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਮਰੋ। ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਹਰਿ ਰਾਏ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਹਰਿ ਕ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਨ ਧਿਆਈਐ। ਜਿਸ ਡਿਠੇ ਸਭ ਦੁਖ ਜਾਏ। ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਸਿਮਰਿਐ। ਕਰ ਨੌ ਨਿਧਾਵੈ ਧਾਏ। ਸਭ ਥਾਈ ਹੋਏ ਸਹਾਏ। 10ਵੇਂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ। ਸਭ ਥਾਈ ਹੋਏ ਸਹਾਏ। 10 ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਜੋਤ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਪਾਠ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੀਦਾਰ ਵੱਲ ਧਿਆਨ ਧਰ ਕੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ। ਪੰਜਾਂ ਪਿਆਰਿਆਂ, ਚੌਹਾਂ ਸਾਹਿਬਜ਼ਾਦਿਆਂ, 40 ਮੁਕਤਿਆਂ, ਸ਼ਹੀਦਾਂ, ਮੁਰੀਦਾਂ, ਹੱਠੀਆਂ, ਜਪੀਆਂ, ਤਪੀਆਂ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਿਆ ਵੰਡ ਛਕਿਆ, ਦੇਗ ਚਲਾਈ ਤੇਗ ਵਾਹੀ, ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਡਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਪਿਆਰਿਆਂ ਸਚਿਆਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਕਮਾਈ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਧਰ ਕੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ। ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਸਿੰਘਣੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਧਰਮ ਹੇਤ ਸੀਸ ਦਿੱਤੇ, ਬੰਦ ਕਟਵਾਏ, ਖੋਪਰੀਆਂ ਲੋਹੀਆਂ ਚਰਖੜੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਚੜੇ ਤਾਨਾਰਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਚਰਾਏ ਗਏ, ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਲਈ ਕੁਰਬਾਨੀਆਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ, ਧਰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹਾਰਿਆ, ਸਿੱਖੀ ਕੇਸਾਂ ਸੁਆਸਾਂ ਸੰਗ ਨਿਭਾਹੀ, ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਮਾਈ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਧਰ ਕੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ। ਪੰਜਾਂ ਤਖਤਾਂ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਧਰ ਕੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ। ਪ੍ਰਥਮੇ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਸਰਬੱਤ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਕੋ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਚਿਤਾਵੈ, ਚਿਤਾਵਨ ਕਾ ਸਦਕਾ ਸਰਬ ਸੁਖ ਹੋਵੈ। ਜਹਾਂ ਜਹਾਂ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤਹਾਂ ਤਹਾਂ ਰਛਿਆ ਰਿਆਇਤ, ਦੇਗ ਤੇਗ ਫਤਿਹ ਬਿਰਧ ਕੀ ਪੈਜ, ਪੰਥ ਕੀ ਜੀਤ, ਸ੍ਰੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਸਹਾਈ। ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਕੇ ਬੋਲ ਵਾਲੇ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ। ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦਾਨ, ਕੇਸ ਦਾਨ, ਰਹਿਤ ਦਾਨ, ਵਿਵੇਕ ਦਾਨ, ਵਸਾ ਦਾਨ, ਭਰੋਸਾ ਦਾਨ, ਦਾਨਾ ਸਿਰਦਾਨ, ਨਾਮਦਾਨ। ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ, ਇਸ਼ਨਾਨ, ਚੌਂਕੀਆਂ, ਝੰਡੇ ਬੁੰਗੇ, ਜੁਗੋ ਜੁਗ ਅਟਲ ਧਰਮ ਕਾ ਜੈਕਾਰ। ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ। ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦਾ ਮਨ ਨੀਵਾਂ, ਮਤ ਉੱਚੀ, ਮਤ ਪਤ ਕਾ ਰਾਖਾ ਆਪ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਹੋਏ। ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੰਥ ਦੇ ਸਦਾ ਸਹਾਈ ਦਾਤਾਰ ਜੀ। ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਨਨਕਾਣਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਅਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਗੁਰਧਾਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਪੰਥ ਨੂੰ ਵਿਛੋੜਿਆ ਗਿਆ, ਖੁੱਲ੍ਹੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੀਦਾਰ, ਸੇਵਾ ਸੰਭਾਲਦਾ ਦਾਨ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰੋ। ਹੇ ਨਿਮਾਣਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਮਾਣ, ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਨਿਤਾਣਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਤਾਣ, ਨਿਉਟਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਉੜ, ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਨਾਜ਼ਰ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸਹੁੰ ਚੁੱਕ ਸਮਾਗਮ ਨੂੰ ਮੁੱਖ ਰੱਖਦਿਆਂ ਹੋਇਆਂ ਪਾਵਨ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਦਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੇਵਕ ਮੇਅਰ ਹੋਜੇ ਮੁਰਾਨ, ਕੌਂਸਲਮੈਨ ਜੇਸਨ ਰੋਥ, ਕੌਂਸਲਮੈਨ ਗੁਰਪਾਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਮਰਾ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀਓ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਮੌਕਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। ਆਪ ਜੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰੋ। ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਿਰ 'ਤੇ ਮਿਹਰ ਭਰਿਆ ਹੱਥ ਰੱਖਣਾ। ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਉਹ ਨਿਰਸਵਾਰਥ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਉਹ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਬਾਲ ਉਦਮ ਮਚਾਓ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਨਾ। ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਪਾਵਨ ਬਚਨ ਹੈ, ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਤ ਹੋਏ ਨਿਹਕਾਮੀ, ਤਿਸ ਕੋ ਹੋਤ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਸੁਆਮੀ। ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਮਿਹਰ ਭਰਿਆ ਹੱਥ ਰੱਖਣਾ। ਸਹੀ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਮੇਲੋ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਤੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਵੇ, ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਮ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਭਾਣੇ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਦਾ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਬੋਲੇ ਸੋ ਨਿਹਾਲ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
Thank you. At this time, we're going to go ahead and move on to the oaths of office. The city clerk will administer the oath of office for mayor-elect and council members-elect. Shortly thereafter, we will take a recess.
Will Mr. Gurpal Samra come forward, please? Okay, please raise your right hand. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations. Congratulations. Do I need to get a microphone, or can you hear them? That's good. Will Mr. Jason Roth please come forward? Okay, ready? I state your name.
I, Jason Roth,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California.
that I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion.
and that I will well
I will
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon what I'm trying to enter. Jeez.
Okay, Jose Mora. Ready? Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Jose A. Moran,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
and defend
and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation
that I take this obligation
freely without any mental reservation
freely without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully
discharge
the duties
the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. All right, we're going to call for a brief recess so we can take some pictures and say hi to everyone else. We'll be back in a minute. We're going to call this meeting back to order at 8:05. Okay, so next on the agenda, we have items for discussion and potential action items. We have item number 19. Consider and discuss the City of Livingston City Council options for filing the City Council seat vacated by Councilmember Jose Moran and take action related to filing the vacancy.
Okay, and Mayor and Council, Attorney Christina Pritchett with her office will be doing the presentation.
Thank you. So with the election of Mayor Moran, there is a vacated council seat. The city must, after this vacancy, the city must fill it or appoint someone or call a special election within 60 days. The city, you guys know your past practices of how you fill this seat. And so at this time, we want to know whether you want to appoint or call a special election. Should a special election be called, we did get an estimate from the county registrar of the cost, which would be approximately $72,000 and would not be able to take place until November of 2023.
And with that, there's no requirement that you follow any particular path other than and that the person who would fill the seat receives a majority of the council vote, which would be 3 votes, even though that there's 4 seats.
At this moment, are there any questions, any comments from anyone on the dais?
Mr. Mayor, first of all, it's an honor to call you Mayor Moran. Congratulations. For me, we have to be fiscally conservative in saying that we're going to spend $27,000 plus. It doesn't make sense. So my comment, suggestion at this time is that we allow public in general to apply, and then we make a decision.
And we have provided a sample application, yes. But this is only a sample, but it is, we used examples from similar cities. It has all of the required information that a candidate must have. And so the process can be dictated by the council as far as timing, so long as the appointment occurs within 60 days from today.
Yes, I understand that. I was making my suggestion, but I wanted to hear what their thought process is on this item as well first.
All right, thank you. Any other comments from the dais before I go out to public comment?
Yes, I also agree that we should take it out to public and let the people put applications in, review them, and interview.
I disagree. That's a great suggestion. However, the public has already spoken, and we do have votes casted out, over 600 votes for the third person that is recorded on record through Merced County. So the people did speak over, where's her name? 614 votes. And in the past practice, we have appointed the third runner-up. And that would have been 6 years ago when the appointment was made by Gurpal himself as mayor for Alex McCabe. So I do believe if we want to have full transparency of what the public wants and who they voted for, I believe that we should appoint the third person in that that won the third ranking.
Mr. Mayor, may I respond?
Yes, go ahead.
Councilwoman Soto is absolutely correct. There was an appointment made, but we have also, myself and others, have over time, have interviewed and appointed as well. So it's been both items, it's been done both ways. So I'm not saying that past practice, I mean, it's up to the council to vote, but I will still hold to my initial recommendation.
At this moment, I'd like to go out for public comment, and then we can come back to the dais. Is there anybody on the phone for public comment in regards to item number 19? Okay, seeing none, any public comment here in person in regards to this item? If you can please come up to the microphone and state your name.
My name is Alma Alvarez, and I would like to run for the city council and
Can we check, see if is the mic on?
Hello, my name is Alma Alvarez, and I am the third runner for the city council, and I'm ready to run the community, help the community, and I'm ready if you guys elect me. I'm ready. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other comments? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to bring it back to the dais. Are there any other comments? In my opinion, I think, yes, it is good to understand how this similar process has been done before. Although we do have we have time, things change over time, councils change over time, and so we have those options, and it's up to this council to decide what to do and what we think is best for the community. So, in my own personal opinion, I believe that having an appointment, opening it up to the citizens of Livingston so that they can apply, and going through a process for this council to look at those applicants, and then this council can decide and select the best candidate for that position or for consideration. So, any additional comments?
So you're telling, what you're saying, in essence, is that this council, if we put that out to the public, people have an opportunity to nominate themselves and address us for their desires and hopes to be part of Livingston Council, that it would come to us and that the four of us as we sit would have more power over the 614 votes that came in, registered voters? Is that what I'm hearing? Do we think we have more authority over than the people who voted for the third runner-up? Do we have more authority over that?
Mr. Mayor, may I respond to that? May I respond?
Can you hold on until she's done with her comments, and then I can yield the floor to you? Thank you.
That was a question. Do we feel as a council that we could override a 614 vote from the citizens of what they wanted?
Thank you, Ms. Soto. Mr. Samra?
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. I understand what Councilwoman Soto is saying, but also, if you notice the ballot, it said 2 seats available, not third. This was not a ranked voting. It was vote for top 2 seats. There was no saying that the third candidate will be appointed, because we do not know who the mayor was going to be, or we don't know. So it was not ranked voting. It was mark 2 people for council, and people have spoken. And And also through our votes, we all got our votes. People also gave us the authority and the trust that we will make the right decision on the replacement, if that's what it comes down to, because we could have another council vacancy. Somebody can say, I don't want to do it. They can say, I'm sick, or, you know what, this is not for me. Does that mean we have to go to the fourth person or the fifth? What happens if you can't do that? So we were given the authority and the trust. So I believe that my original comment still stands. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Samra. Are there any additional comments before do we have a motion? Does anybody care to entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to put it out to public. For
If I could, just part of the motion, could you specify the days that you would like to allow applications to be received so that then it has to be give us enough time to make a decision within those 60 days?
What I would like to do is throw it out there for at least, let me look at the calendar, I'm sorry. From today's date until the end of the month. Say the 30th.
Is that sufficient? Legal?
Because we have to do this within 30?
Must
60
be done
days?
within 60 days. If it helps due to the holidays, there was a sample schedule of putting the appointments out for 3 weeks and ending it sometime in the week of December 21st, so that it would allow time to agendize the interviews and consideration at the first meeting on January 3rd.
I think staff's comment would be we'd be reluctant to have it go too much past January 3rd, which is the first day we're open for the new year, in order to make sure that we can hit all of our deadlines.
Then I'd like to start it from this evening until December the 22nd.
Legal, is that a sufficient motion? Then I will second that motion.
So we have a first by Councilmember Jason and a second by Mr. Gripal. Can we have a roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
No.
Councilmember Samra?
Yes.
Councilmember Roth?
Yes.
Mayor Moran?
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote of 3-1.
And Mayor and Council, just so that we're, just so everybody knows, those applications would be turned into the city clerk's office, and so when they would be held there until council reviews. So that's where people would be turning in those applications.
Yeah, and just so clarification, this does not preclude anybody that ran from applying as well. Everybody can apply.
As long as you meet the requirements to be a candidate in Livingston, then you are eligible to apply.
Anybody can apply.
All right, thank you. So moving on, item number 20, discussion and possible action on whether to continue remote participation at City of Livingston public meetings by members of the City Council, as well as its commissions and subcommittees.
Okay, again, Mayor and Council, Attorney Christina Pritchard from our office will be doing the presentation on this item.
The city is currently has an active resolution under Assembly Bill 361, which allows legislative body members to participate in meetings via teleconference during a state of emergency. This item is to discuss whether to continue to allow the legislative body members, the Planning Commission, Council, their committees and other commissions to continue to participate by teleconference. The governor has stated that he intends to end the state of emergency in February 2023, which would then disallow meetings under Assembly Bill 361. In addition to that, the legislature recently passed Assembly Bill 2449, which implements new teleconferencing rules as of January 1, 2023. Under those rules, council members or legislative body members may attend public meetings via teleconference under very specific standards, so in emergency situations and for just cause. Those requirements set out new standards that the council must abide by and which pose some noticing complications that should be considered. For example, if a council member has just cause or an emergency situation, they can teleconference in at the time of the start of the meeting, and the public must be allowed to participate in several different ways, and certain noticing must go out, otherwise the council cannot take action. For purposes of AB 361 and the emergency situation, right now there is still a state of emergency, and while the governor has proclaimed that he intends to end the state of emergency in February 2023, that is not certain, and the state of emergency could continue on, and the council needs to consider and discuss whether they want to continue allowing legislative body members to attend during the state of emergency via teleconference. So we can start there.
Do we have any comments or questions on the dais?
Yeah, to me, I think this needs to go away. I don't see the emergencies out there. I don't see any barriers here. If you can spend hundreds of hours talking to people, vote for me, we can spend the time to get our heinies over here in public, in person, and hear from our constituents directly. Now, if somebody wants to allow public into the living room while they Zoom in on the meeting, they're more than welcome to, but I don't think it needs to go that far.
Are there any additional comments on the dais or questions?
And just to clarify, this does not affect the current teleconferencing allowed for public participation.
Yes.
Just to make sure that's clear.
Thank you for the clarification. That is absolutely correct. It's only for the elected body.
Okay. I'm going out to public comment. Is there any public comment on the in person? Please come up to the podium.
Robert Wallace. Yeah, I think it should go away, and I questioned the last city manager on it when it was last approved. By law, you have to approve it every 30 days. I could not find that in the record last time. I think it's a crush. Also, as being on the Planning Commission, there are items that have been brought to the Planning Commission that are not been posted online. And I'm not happy about that because it should, if we're seeing it on this screen, the public should have had it posted on all their information on the website, yet it was not. And I intend to talk to Miguel about it because I was just informed he does not want to include it. However, I want it included. If we're seeing it on this screen and it's for the public, it should be put out on the public document. It's not his authority to hold that back. Thank you.
Thank you for that. If we can make a note of that and we can look into it, appreciate it. Thank you. Are there any additional public comments?
Catherine Shell Rodriguez, and I am referencing the agenda packet under the second paragraph under discussion, and about 1, 2, 3, third line down on remote public participation under AB 2449 must be provided via a two-way audio-visual platform such as Zoom or both a two-way telephonic service and live webcasting. So in other words, currently the way we're doing it right now, we have the live casting, which is going on, and then people can phone it in. So we could continue, if you choose, we could continue that process, and an elected could phone it in as long as the webcasting is working, because getting down to the next line, should any disruption to the remote public attendance medium occur, in other words, our live cast go down, the legislative body will be prohibited from taking action on items appearing on the meeting agenda until we get it back up again. And I just would like the council to stick in the brain that we've already had more than once where the live teleconference was disrupted and went down, and we need to consider whether or not our live casting is going to be secure enough and dependable enough, because if it goes down and we've got people that have to call it in for one reason or another, then the meeting comes to a halt until we get the problem fixed.
Do we have any additional public comments here in person? Are there any public comments in regards to this item on the phone? Okay, so hearing none, I'm bringing this back to the dais.
If I may clarify that there are 2 items for discussion and possible action in this staff report and this agenda item. So for AB 361, it is specific to the emergency proclamation and whether legislative body members may conference in or teleconference in using the emergency proclamation. And secondary to that, under the AB 2449, that would not begin until January 1, 2023. And what staff is requesting is direction from the council on whether they would like an action item brought to implement a specific policy of either allowing or disallowing the council to teleconference in pursuant to AB 2449. And as the public has brought out and is in the staff report, if you have a meeting under AB 2449 and you do have technical difficulties, it does bring a halt to the meeting. In addition, as the Livingston has a time limit set for their public comment period, there is an additional time constraint associated with AB 2449 meetings, in that if the time limit is 5 minutes, then for every single item, whether there's public comment or not, you must wait out the entire 5 minutes. And so if you had a special meeting with 6 items on it and no public comment, you would end up with 30 minutes of wait time, simply because you're operating under AB 2449.
So to be clear, you opt out of it, you tell us whether you want to be in or out of the emergency aspect, and then whether or not you want a policy to opt in or opt out of the new assembly bill. So those would be what we'd be looking for from direction.
Questions? Comments?
Are you here to make a motion at this time?
So let me, allow me to provide comment. I do want this council to go back to pre-COVID situation where if any council member wants to participate, they need to be here. Or if they have to be absent because they are at a conference or anything like that, then so that we can go through the process and have it posted where they're going to be at and allow people to be there like it was before pre-COVID. I'm still trying to understand the second part of it in regards to the new law becoming effective in January 2023. If I understand that correctly, even though it's a separate item, if we opt in and go with it, even if someone is absent or something happens with not being able to connect, we still have to wait out that time. But that's if we opt in. But as of right now, this is just, you're just looking for direction, and then those items can come back to us in 4 weeks.
Yes, and you do not have to specifically opt in to the new legislation that goes into effect on January 1 for the new teleconferencing rules. But if you want to disallow legislative body members from participating via teleconference under that new legislation, you do need to have a policy prohibiting it.
Okay, I think now I understand. So the big part of it is if this council creates a resolution to disallow those members that are not present here to participate, because otherwise it might affect our meetings because of the waiting time that we have to go through.
Correct.
Okay.
And just to be clear, this is direction so that we can bring the policy back after January 1st so that you could formally opt out. I do think that most jurisdictions that we represent are opting out, just to be candid.
Any additional comments? What's the direction of this council? Well, it has to be like the majority so that we can have.
So you need direction to have them bring it back then?
You can take action on the AB 361 item right now as far as, so if we can start there, if there is a motion to either continue or discontinue participation via teleconference under the emergency proclamation.
So let's do that first. Let's do that first.
All right, I will make the motion to discontinue public meetings based on AB 361.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Samra?
Yes.
Councilmember Roth?
Yes.
Mayor Moran?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4-0.
Okay, so now let's go to the second part of it, please.
And so the second part is staff is requesting direction on whether the council would like a policy brought forth at the first meeting in January prohibiting participation in public meetings pursuant to AB 2449.
So that one doesn't require a formal motion, but it does require basically 3 thumbs up, for lack of a better term, direction that that's what you want.
My recommendation would be to bring that to the council to opt out at this moment, and then we can discuss it further and get more information, and then we can be more educated at that time. So that would be my recommendation, to bring that back in 4 weeks from today.
Yeah. We see unanimous.
We concur.
We see unanimous nodding heads, so I believe we have direction. So
thank you.
Okay, thank you for that.
Mr. Mayor, before we go to our next meeting.
Okay, yes.
I know that she's been our Assemblywoman-elect. You're not sworn in yet, are you? You got sworn in? Well then, congratulations. I thought you were still getting sworn in. I know you were in training, but so everybody, get that phone number. You know we're gonna need our help. So, and it is our Assemblywoman Esmeralda Soria. She just won the election. Congratulations. Would you like to say something? Sorry.
First and foremost, I want to say congratulations to the newly seated members, Mayor Moran, and to the 2 new council members. I look forward to working with the entire body. I'm very proud to be representing Livingston, and also just very proud that actually this is my first stop as the official Assemblywoman for District 27. I just finished some duties in Sacramento, and so I'm proud to be here this evening with you guys to share on this occasion, and also for those that don't know me, to introduce myself. Just to make sure that you guys are connected. I know that we'll have an opportunity to meet, during the several weeks ahead of us to make sure that we work together to take your priorities to Sacramento. My commitment is to ensure that the priorities of this community and communities across this district are reflected in the budget and through our policymaking process. So I just wanted to come and say hello. Thank you for giving me the honor and privilege of representing your city, and I look forward to a strong partnership so that together we can ensure that the families that live here in the city of Livingston can thrive and can have success. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Again, congratulations to the newly seated members, and I look forward to working with all of you here in the city of Livingston. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for making that effort to be here today, and this being your first stop as a newly elected member. And we'll definitely be looking to schedule a couple of meetings in the near future, and congratulations once again to you as well. And thank you. And just to let everyone know, the public know, that even though we have closed session after this, we have one more item. We have to close this meeting, and we have to open up the special meeting so we can do that item before we move ourselves to closed session. So we're going to continue, okay?
Mr. Mayor, before we continue, I'd like to offer an apologies to you. I didn't ask for the floor to have the guests come up. It will not happen again. I apologize.
I will make sure that doesn't happen again. Thank you.
Sir. I appreciate that. And my apologies.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to continue this meeting into the special meeting. All right, so we have to go through the whole process again. Welcome to the seat. All right, so we have a special meeting. Call to order. Can we have roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Present.
Councilmember Semra?
Present.
Councilmember Roth?
Present.
Mayor Moran?
Present.
For the record, all council members and mayor are in attendance.
All right, next, I would like to ask everyone to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. Next, are there any changes to the agenda? Seeing none. Citizens' comments. Members of the public wishing to address the City Council will be given the same time allotment for comments, 3 minutes as normally allowed for meetings, subject to the provisions of the Executive Order NO 8-21. As at a special meeting, members of the public wishing to address the council for any matter on the agenda may do so at this time. And under the provisions of the California Government Code, the City Council is prohibited from discussing or taking action on any item not on the agenda. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. So the first item on the agenda is the nomination and election of the mayor pro tempore. Are there any comments, questions on the dais as to this item?
Yes, I'd like to, just because of his past history and his past for being mayor, I'd like to nominate Gurpal Semra as mayor pro tempore.
All right, before we continue, I'd like to open this item for public comments. Anybody on the phone? Public comments, anybody in person? Okay, so seeing none. Any additional comments? So we have a motion on the floor. I will go ahead and second that for nominating Gurpal Samra to Mayor Pro Tem. So we have, can we have roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Samra?
Yes.
Councilmember Roth?
Yes.
Mayor Moran?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you. We have our item number 2, discussion and make city council appointments to city boards, commissions, and committees. The first sub-item is the member alternate. Well, this would be to the MCAG. MCAG is they normally, I believe they meet once a month. They meet once a month, and it's representatives of every city and Merced County and county supervisors. Are there any questions, comments?
I'd like to nominate Mayor Moran to the MCAG board.
Okay. Let me bring that out to public comment. Are there any public comments on the phone? In person? Any public comments in person?
Good evening, Council. Hilda Lopez. I would actually recommend that this item be moved to after the appointment of the next council member, providing the opportunity for that individual to be appointed as a representative to some of these commissions. It would be really unfortunate for that person not to have a say or be representing our city simply because they joined at a later date than the rest of the council. But I understand if it is a necessity because of timeliness, but that would be my recommendation to postpone this so that the appointed council member could be included in representation. Thank you.
Are there any other additional public comments?
Hi, good evening. Kenneth Abloh. I would like to recommend that you guys have a committee for water. I think that it's great that we have these committees for sports and that we have them for whatever we have them for. But we have some real issues that should be at the forefront that aren't even discussed. And when they are discussed, they're discussed in passing. So I would ask you guys to take serious heart at the fact that I've mentioned this before to the board, but council, our water's running out. And they're not joking. And the water that we have, for lack of better words, it sucks. We pay you guys for water, and then I have to go and drag gallons of water from the store and trust that that water is good. So I have to pay for that water, or I have to pay for another service. So as a citizen here, I would ask that some of our basic needs are met before we worry about having some of these other things done. I would really encourage you guys to take it to heart. I cannot tell you enough how important it is that we have these. So thank you. Congratulations, everyone.
Are there any additional comments in person? All right, okay, so seeing none, I'm bringing this item back to the dais. I do appreciate your comments and insight and bringing in different ideas that probably some of us had not thought about. I have a question, and this is probably for legal. If let's say that some of this appointments or positions are filled today and there's some unfilled. But even when the time comes and the fifth council person, it's up on the dais, if council wants to offer any of those current positions filled by somebody else to the new council person, is that possible?
Council always has the ability to make changes by majority to any of the seats. So if anything was filled today, you could always, even if somebody had been appointed to that, remove them from that and then put somebody else in.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments on the dais? So I believe we have a motion on the floor. And that was by Mr. Gerpal.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a first and a second. And
MCAG primary. Do you have a secondary too? Mr. Roth. Oh, sorry.
so we have a first and a second. And then, so we first select the primary person, and then we select the alternate.
Yeah, and the ones that have alternates, we would need to select who would show up in the event. I will say, like ones like MCAG, I'd have to double check, but I'm fairly certain that these are ones that are customarily filled by the mayors, and then just somebody appears if they're not available. So.
Okay, so can I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Semra?
Yes.
Councilmember Roth?
Yes.
Mayor Moran?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4-0.
Okay, so now we need an alternate. This will be just in case that myself I would not be able to show up, and then I would notify the alternate, and the alternate can participate in my absence. Go ahead.
I'd like to nominate Gurpal Samra for the alternate.
Okay. Any additional questions or comments before I move out to public comment? All right. So, is there any public comment in regards to the alternate out on the phone? Any public comment here in person? Okay, seeing none, I'm bringing this back to the dais. So are there any other questions, comments, suggestions? Well, actually, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? I'll go ahead and second that. Can you take a roll, please?
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Semra?
Yes.
Councilmember Roth?
Yes.
Mayor Moran?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4-0.
Okay, next
If I may,
Yes, go ahead.
just hearing the opinion of the public comment, and noticing the way motions are being carried, I would like to postpone the rest of the appointments till after we do have a fifth council member. I would like to make a motion to postpone the remaining appointments until we have a fifth council member.
What I would suggest for everyone to up on the dais to take a minute and look at and review the remaining positions to see if any of them might be time sensitive, and then.
I'm sorry, Mayor, but they wouldn't know that unless you addressed if you looked into each one of them specifically.
Well, yeah, so that they can make a decision on your motion, right? So we have a motion on the floor. Are there any comments, questions from the dais? So at this time, do I bring it up to public comment? No, right? Because it's already done.
So this one is, because it's an internal motion to
Okay.
just to continue the items. And so the question is whether or not we're going to continue with the rest of the agenda.
Okay. So, Ms. Soto, would this be until the new, can you be?
Let me
Yes.
repeat the
Thank you.
motion. I would like to postpone the rest of the appointments until we have a fifth council member. My motion is to postpone until there is a fifth council member.
The question I have, and I think I went blank here for a moment, but do we have the MCAG primary and the alternate now?
Yes.
So any of these are time sensitive again, and I don't know, I've been gone for a while, but I don't see what's the point of delaying it?
At this moment, as I review them, many of these seats can be held through the month of December until the fifth council member is nominated in. There's nobody here who holds the seats now. Are people here, and right now, Councilmember King can continue to hold his position, mosquito abatement. Why is that legal?
Because he's no longer a council member, so we would have to have somebody who's.
Many of the persons on the mosquito abatement board are not council members.
I beg to differ, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Grupo.
They are appointed as citizens, not as council members. When that seat is vacant, there's no longer an appointment there. At the moment of end of the term, the appointment ends, I believe.
Well, it's December.
So that is, well, I guess some items are time sensitive, so, but that was my question. But are there any other questions, comments in regards to, before we move on?
So, just one more comment. Until that fifth position is filled, I believe the mayor can sit in on many of these boards and councils or commissions.
Without an official appointment? I don't believe you can sit without an official appointment.
Well, technically, the mayor's the default for everything, but the cleanest way of doing it would be to appoint him as the primary. And if you went down this route, so you had somebody occupying each position.
So what you're saying is, for now, we would have to appoint the mayor to all primary positions.
I think that would be the cleanest, way of doing it. But technically, by your book, the mayor is the default when all else fails.
That I agree, but without an official appointment, you can't really.
At this moment, King is the only missing appointment for mosquito abatement. All others are occupied. And we would only have, if Parks and Recs has their meeting, that is filled by Mr. Moran.
Any additional comments, questions, suggestions? So we still have a motion on the floor. So at this time, I'm going to ask for a second. We have a motion on the floor. Ask for a second. I'll go ahead and second that. I'll go ahead and second that motion. Can I have roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Samra?
No.
Councilmember Roth?
No.
Mayor Moran?
Yes. So, good.
Motion fails.
Motion failed by a
Motion
vote.
fails for lack of a majority.
So, give me 1 second, please. We still need to figure out. So, do I go back to the item B, and then before we can just continue with what's on the agenda?
We continue unless there's a successful motion to continue. So that doesn't make any
No,
sense.
no. Just continue with the items on the agenda.
That's correct. That's what I meant by continue,
Okay.
but I use continue like way too many times in one sentence.
All right. So next we have item B, member to Merced County Local Agency Formation Commission, more best known as LAFCO. Right? What? No, not yet. Are there any comments, questions on the dais before I go out to public comment?
I'd like to nominate myself for this position.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Any other questions, comments, suggestions on the dais? All right, so I'm going to go out to public comment here in person.
Again, I would like to recommend and ask that, we evaluate these appointments a little bit more critically rather than just doing it on a whim tonight, especially being that we are down one council person. Even if it is just pushing this to the next council meeting on December 20th, so that we can evaluate which positions or which appointments are time sensitive and would need to be done by the next meeting. I highly doubt that not having appointments tonight would affect anything between now and then. Correct me if I'm wrong, legal, anybody. But I think that we are doing this in haste in order to get this done. And it really, translates to a lack of representation, because that other person that is going to be an appointment by this council should have a say in representing in the various organizations throughout the county as well. Thank you.
Is there any additional public comment in person? Okay, seeing none, is there any public comment on the phone? Okay, hearing none, bringing this back to the dais. So we have a motion on the floor as Councilmember Soto nominated herself for LAFCO. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Can we have roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Samra?
Yes.
Councilmember Roth?
Yes.
Mayor Moran?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote 4-0.
Okay, next item on the agenda, we have, do we need, no. We don't need an alternate for that. Do we? It's not listed.
Listed. You are currently listed for the Central Valley Division League of California Cities. Currently, it's Councilmember.
That's the next item,
And
yeah.
you're the alternate.
Yeah, okay, so that is item C. All right, so Representative Alternate Central Valley Division League of California Cities currently is Councilmember Soto and myself as the alternate. Do we have any comments, recommendations, motions?
Yes, I'd like to make the motion to nominate Councilmember Soto as a primary and Mayor Moran as an alternate, please.
All right, so any other questions, comments, suggestions before I provide my opinion? So what I would suggest and recommend and ask the maker of the motion to consider Ms. Soto as the primary representative and Mr. Jason as the alternate.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I will withdraw my motion, so your motion can stand. Because I did make a motion, so
Oh, you made a recommendation?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will withdraw my motion, so your motion can stand, okay?
All right, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. So I make a motion to have Councilmember Soto be the primary and Councilmember Roth as the alternate for League of Cities.
I will second that motion.
I'll bring that out to public comment in person. Public comment on the phone. Seeing none, I'll bring that back to the dais. Is there any, there was a second, there was a first, and then a second? Yes, okay, so can we have roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Semra?
Yes.
Councilmember Roth?
Yes.
Mayor Moran?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4-0.
Next, we have item D. This is to the for the mosquito abatement. We normally have a representative, and then we have an alternate. Are there any questions, suggestions, motions on the dais?
If I may, I'm not too sure how legal presented this last time. If I could ask to have put this out there to a citizen in the community, Gingadip King.
I mean, I don't have the bylaws in front of me. I would have to look to see whether or not it can be occupied by, whether or not it's filling just a public member.
Mr. White, if I may clarify, council does have the authority to appoint a citizen. We've had two citizens for almost 20 years. But the recent trend was based on the previous council to appoint a council member. So, but it can be either way.
So my suggestion would be that to probably have legal look more into it and to make sure that we're not.
Mayor, if you wanted to, you could move forward with the appointment, or if the motion, if that was, and then I could just tell you if it was not correct, and then if that's what you wanted to do, then I would bring it back to you at the next agenda. It's up to you, however you want to go, whatever you feel most comfortable with, but I'm happy with either direction that you want to give me.
So was that a motion?
I didn't make a motion.
And can you repeat your motion again, please?
If allowed, I would like to appoint a community citizen within our community, Gingadip King, to the mosquito abatement, as he's held this position for the past 4 years. As council. And what? An alternate. And, oh.
So
And then I'll put myself as an alternate.
So we have a motion on the floor. I'm going to go ahead and bring that out to public comment. Any public comment on the phone? Public comment in person? Seeing none, I'm bringing that back to the dais. In my opinion, and this is just me, I would really feel more comfortable. I understand that some other members in the mosquito abatement represent other cities, are appointed. They're not elected officials. But I also don't understand since when or how I also understand that Livingston is the only city that has an elected official as a representative, and I personally like that better. But also, I don't want to ignore but then I would rather bring it back. But right now we have a motion, so unless there are any other questions on the dais, we would need a second to move this forward. If not, then this dies.
I just got a comment. I would feel a little bit better with having an elected official on the Mosquito Abatement District Board, just saying for my own opinion.
Okay, so we still have a motion on the floor. We would need a second. Is there a second? Seeing none, then this motion dies.
Yeah, motion dies.
Okay, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I make the motion that I appoint myself to the mosquito abatement and Councilmember Roth as an alternate.
Okay, is there any other comments? So that's a motion on the floor. Comments, questions, suggestions before I bring it out to public comment? Is there any public comment in regards to this item on the phone? Public comment in person? Bringing this back to the dais. So we have a motion on the floor to have Mr. Gurpal and as the primary and Jason as the Councilmember Jason as alternate. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Can we have roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Samra?
Yes.
Councilmember Roth?
Yes.
Mayor Moran?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4-0.
Next, we have item E, representative and alternate to the Special City Selection Committee of the San Joaquin Valley Air Control Board. Currently, we have Councilmember Soto as a representative, and there was no designated alternate. Are there any questions, suggestions, recommendations on the dais?
I'd like to make a suggestion. Maria Soto stays on as regular and myself as alternate.
I will.
Never mind.
No, there's
No, yes.
designated. We do need one, but it's
Yeah.
not designated.
Yeah.
It's nobody's been designated as vacant
Yeah.
right now, so it would be appropriate to have an
I
alternate.
will second that.
designated.
So we have a first and a second. I'll go out to public comment. Anybody on the phone? Anybody in person? Public comment? Bringing this back to the dais. So we have a first and a second. Can I have roll call, please?
If I may,
Yes, go ahead.
thank you for the nomination, but I would like to step down from this position. I would not accept. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so that. Yeah, okay.
It does. So then,
So
Just
are there
for the
any
record,
other?
to be clear, can we ask that the motion be rescinded?
yeah, just ask for rescinding.
I'd like to rescind my motion.
Yeah, thank you.
Are there any other motions on the floor? Any other ideas?
I'd like to nominate myself for that position.
And
So we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I will second it.
Okay. Is there?
Did you want to designate an alternate?
Alternate Gurpal Semra.
I will second that still.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. I forgot if I went out. Yes, I did. Roll call, please.
Roll call, Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Samra?
Yes.
Councilmember Roth?
Yes.
Mayor Moran?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4-0.
Okay, next we have item F, City Council Liaison to the Planning Commission. Currently is Councilmember Soto. Are there any recommendations, questions, suggestions?
I'd like to put myself in that position for planning.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any public comment out in person? Public comment on the phone? Bringing this back to the dais. So we have a first and a second. Any additional comments, questions, suggestions? All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Soto.
Yes.
Councilmember Samra.
Yes.
Councilmember Roth.
Yes.
Mayor Moran.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4-0.
All right, next item is item G, City Council Liaison, Parks and Recreation, Arts and Commission. Currently, I'm serving as the liaison to the Recreation Commission, and I would really love to continue working with being the liaison with the Recreation Commission. I've been very supportive of recreation for a long time, and I think I would, unless somebody else really wants it and they want to invest more time with the recreation, I would nominate myself at this time.
I will second it.
Okay, so I'm bringing this out for public comment. Any public comment on the radio, on the phone? Public comment in person? Bringing this back to a dais, so I believe we have a first and a second. Can I have roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto.
Yes.
Councilmember Samra.
Yes.
Councilmember Roth.
Yes.
Mayor Moran.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4-0.
All right, next we have item H, 2 City Council representatives. This will be to the Utility Rate Stakeholders Committee. Currently, it's Councilmember Moran and Mayor Aguilar. Well, that's who it was. Are there any suggestions, recommendations on the dais? None at the moment, so I'm bringing this out for public comment. Anybody on the phone? Anybody in person? Bringing this back to the dais. Any recommendations, suggestions, motions? This will be to the Utility Rate Stakeholders Committee. It's always fun to attend those meetings.
That's why I think we're all quiet. Any volunteers?
I would, if nobody wants.
Volunteer? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We appreciate it.
I guess I don't have another choice, but I will volunteer myself to continue attending those meetings. Is there anyone, did I make a motion? Oh,
You nominated yourself.
I did?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't blame us.
Oh, my. Okay, I guess that was a motion. Is there a?
You want to make a motion from the alternate as well, Mr. Mayor?
It's actually two.
Yeah, I misspoke. It's not an alternate. It's two members.
So, okay, so let me clarify my motion. I'll make a motion to nominate myself and I don't think they know what they're getting themselves into. Well, I'm sure probably some of us will be more than happy to donate some of our positions to the new member when that time comes. But at this time, I would like to nominate myself and Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Gurpal Samra to the Utility Rate Stakeholders Committee. So that's a motion.
Sure, Mr. Mayor, make me the bad guy on utility rate, but I will second that.
All right, so we have a first and a second. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, public comment.
Yes, this is Emma Alvarez, and the reason you're having to do everything on your own is because you're not letting me come in after 614 votes. I mean, what is it so hard just to let me in and help you guys out? and to help out the city. Kripal was runner-up, and he was elected. Why can't I be?
Is this reference to this item?
As an assignment of a city council. I could be helping you guys. But you guys think I'm different or I'm not a citizen? I don't have a vote, I don't have a voice. So I can be in it and help you guys. The city did vote 614 people out there voted for me. But this doesn't count. That's not good enough for me to be in it and help out the community. I'm willing to be here, and that's why I'm here. I don't think you need to look for someone else. I'm here, and I'm asking to give me a chance to stand, and I can show you guys I can be out there and help out the community. I'm a great person. You don't know me. Get to know me. I thought you guys were going to be clear and want to help out the community, but it seems like it's all about you guys. You're not giving out what the community wants. The community did pick me for third runner. 614 votes. I think I have the opportunity to come in and help you guys and do the best that we can. Didn't we have a prayer that we were going to do the right thing? I thought we were like, in God we trust, right in front of us. Everything's going to be all right. So I think I deserve to come in and help out the community. Why not? 614 votes, that's not enough? I don't think it's fair. And you said you're going to be fair, and you're already proving you're not going to be fair to the community. Because I look different, and I'm not your standard. Get to know me. I'm not a bad person. I do the best that I can. I believe I have the knowledge to help out the community. And I can be clear and honest. So can I have an opportunity? I'm asking for opportunity to serve the community. Can I get a vote? I mean, I got 614. I'm not different from you guys. I am a human being.
All right. Thank you for your comments. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Thank you.
Ms. Alvarez, thank you for your comment. It does take a lot of courage to come up here and speak your voice. I know 614 people voted for you.
And I'm proud of it.
I saw how out there in the audience, you witnessed how it was a struggle for amongst the four of us to pick and choose and nominate. And some of it, it's just a little bit discouraging with only 4 members here and 3 members that ran together on the same ticket to kind of set that in balance.
That's why I want to come in and help.
I appreciate you coming forward, wanting to step up, noticing that in our last
Because you guys are struggling.
in our last position here where we're trying to nominate and joke around and wanting that 5th member here so that they have an opportunity to serve the community, just as you're coming forward wanting to serve the community the best that you can in any way that you can and willing to help because we're struggling here with this last assignment and making jokes about it. However, there are positions here that have been filled and nomination after nomination for this person and this person, and it does feel a little bit
Overwhelmed.
one-sided, so.
Yeah, I'm sitting
you.
here and I'm
All right.
watching you
Okay.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But thank you, appreciate it. But I'm out here watching you guys. But if you think this is the best way of doing it,
All right.
God bless you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Do we have additional comments in person?
Yeah, Robert Wallace, unless I'm mistaken, once the council is elected and they've made the decision, they're going to fill these posts on all those commissions. So once you're going to open it up for applicants to fill the 2-year unexpired term, you're more than welcome to run for that. And once you put the notices out, there will be people that didn't maybe want a 4-year term that are willing to take a 2-year term. And I think the number of candidates will be quite numerous in coming forward. I have no problem with what the council's done tonight. You did what you were elected to do, and you're doing a great job on that part. Because all those commissions need, unless you change the rules, it needs someone on the council until that is changed. But as of now, it isn't, so you've done what you were elected to do. That's all I have to say.
Are there any additional comments in person?
The only comment that I want to make about the Utility Rate Stakeholders Committee is whoever is appointed to this committee has to be able to understand what is going on with our water system and has to be able to understand what needs to be done to address the problems in the water system and how much these things will cost, because eventually the decisions of the Utility Rate Stakeholders Committee are going to be flowing back to the City Council and flowing into the next rate study that we should be working on within the next year. And as everyone knows, raising water rates around here is a very touchy subject. And so whoever is on this committee is going to have to be able to stand before the public and, if need be, explain to the public why they recommended any potential increases in water rates. So they've got to know what they're doing. They have to be understand what is going on with the system and how it needs to be paid for and how that will impact the future ratepayers. So this is not just a simple little thing about getting on a committee, listening to some stuff and saying, okay, it's a lot more serious than that.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, previously I did serve on the utility ratepayers, and it is a lot of work. And I think when time comes, and I know it's early, we don't know, but I would suggest at that time, not now, is that we get a buy-in from the residents, businesses, small and large businesses, to where they have a seat at the table to talk about it, because sometimes it's hard for us to realize the difficulties of our retired folks, very limited income, and then sometimes it's hard to understand some others, so it's better that when time progresses, when we come to it, that we have some sort of committee at the time. But that's, I know that's down the road. So I've been through this, a lot of work, but thank you for your alternate position. Not alternate, but the secondary. Okay, thank you.
Any additional comments on the dais? So, can you guys remind me? I know that we have a motion. Do we have a second? I believe. Okay, second. So we have. Can we have roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto.
Yes.
Councilmember Samra.
Yes.
Councilmember Roth.
Yes.
Mayor Moran.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4-0.
All right, so now we are going to adjourn the special meeting and reconvene to our regular meeting. And so now, going back to our regular meeting, we go back to closed session. For closed session, we have item number 21, Public Employee Performance Evaluation, Title City Manager, pursuant to Government Code, Section 54957. So at this moment, we are gonna go back into closed session. Okay, we need, do we have any public comment in regards to this item? Any public comment on the phone? Any public comment in person? Okay, seeing none, we're gonna move back to closed session and then we'll come back for adjournment. Thank you.